Welcome, everybody, and I hope you had a good time with the media basketball game. And as Coach Gundy always says, it's nice to come out of an event injury-free. So I think most of you came out of it injury-free, but it was fun to have you out there. We appreciate you being here, and we're looking forward to a great year. The Cowgirls, we return 8 players from last year's squad and add 7 newcomers to this year's team. We felt last year that it was not the type of year that we want to have, but we had lost 3 pros the year before, and we knew we were a little bit of a rebuilding session. We return a lot of players that gained valuable experience, led by All-American Vivian Gray, who averaged over 20 a game for us last year. Kids like Jamie Asbury, Cassie DeLapp, Cleton DeSouza, Miriam Nanu. Those kids all gained a wealth of experience last year. We feel good about our recruiting class. We've added a lot of size, a lot of depth to our roster. If I had to go over probably the strengths, it would be our size, our athleticism, and the ability to go pretty deep in the bench. But probably one of the top kids coming in is Natasha Mack from Angelina Community College. She was the NJCA National Player of the Year, put up great numbers, and we're expecting great things out of Mack. We've added Micah Dennis, who was the Canadian High School Player of the Year, and she can play the point guard and off guard position both, but will primarily be used as a point guard. And we really liked Sarah Rodriguez, the 6'4" young lady from Brazil. She's very raw right now, but when you see her, you're going to understand a tremendous athlete that's going to be a really nice player before she graduates here. But Vivian Gray is nice to have back, a cornerstone to build the program on. A young lady that plays extremely hard every day in practice. She's one of the people, I talk about 2 of the best practice players I've ever coached since I've been here. And one was Tiffany Bias, and another is Vivian Gray. So there's no accident that she had a great year last year. She puts a lot of time in her game and is a great practice player. We hope with the experience that we gained last year, the pieces that we've added here, we're very optimistic about having a great year. I'll open up for any questions.
You talk about Vivian that way. How valuable is it when your best player is also your hardest working player when you're not in a game?
I think that's the most important thing. To be a great leader, I believe you got to do a couple different things. I think you got to put up numbers if somebody's going to truly respect what you do, and then you've got to work hard every day. She plays play to play on both ends of the floor. Practice is very important for her. She tries to excel and win in everything that she does. So I think that's a key, that your best player is your best practice player as well.
Why is it so important for you to recruit internationally? And I noticed that it's picked up some. And then what kind of extra effort goes into finding talent like that?
Well, it's twofold. We've recruited some international players out of the JC level, and then we've recruited some where our coaches have gone over and spent time in Brazil and done some work there. But you're seeing it around the country more now, where a lot of people are expanding their recruiting. There's a lot of talent in these countries. We're identifying it a lot better, and there's just a lot of kids that want to come to the States and get their education and play at a BCS school and play at a high level.
With a girl like Latasha Jones not on the team this year, who do you think can make up for the numbers of rebounds she got last year?
Well, Natasha Mack. Natasha's averaged about 12 rebounds a game at 6'4", long arms, attacks the glass on both ends of the floor, and I think that's a start. But I think with our added height and and the experience that Miriam Nanu and Cassidy DeLapp got, and then adding size like Sarah Rodriguez, Natasha Mack, I think that is definitely going to help. That was a weakness of us last year on the boards, and I think that's going to be a strength this year.
You mentioned that Sarah's a little raw right now. What are some of her strengths going to be?
Just very long, has the ability to get in passing lanes, get deflections. She gets out and runs extremely well, very fast up and down the floor. Believe she's going to be a factor up front on a press, and I think she's just going to continue to grow each day. Really works hard, has a great attitude toward things, and I think her ceiling is very, very high.
Does this team's style of play change a little bit because of the pieces that you got? You were incredibly guard heavy at times last year. Does that change because of what you've added?
You know, I've always wanted to build a team based on balance of inside and outside game, and we're going to emphasize going inside a lot more this year. Those young kids got a year underneath their belt, and we're going to expect more out of them and demand to score on the block as well. It's a hard game if you only score on the perimeter. You know, you need to have the balance. We were very spoiled around here for 3 years with Kaylee Jensen, so we need to make sure that we've got people coming up and being a viable threat on the block, so it doesn't put so much pressure on our guards.
You've got 4 ranked teams in non-conference play. What do you see in this roster that gives you confidence that they can handle what's upcoming?
You know, we're gonna find out what we're about in the non-conference because I believe 9 of the 12 had 20-plus wins last year. You've got Oregon, who's in a lot of the polls preseason #1. Louisville will be 4 or 5. You've got Texas A&M, who will be in the top 10. Rice won 28 last year. It's just we maybe got a little carried away on it, but we're going to find out who we are, and we're going to be well prepared for Big 12 play. And Coach Holder challenged us to go play a strong non-conference schedule, and that's what we've done.
Coach, last year James the kid who got some valuable minutes, played a lot. So what's it mean to have her back as a sophomore?
You know, it's tough in this league to be a starting point guard as a freshman. I think the equivalent is to be a starting quarterback in football. You're going to go through some growing pains. No matter how talented you are, it's going through and understanding what the Big 12 is about. So she's familiar with the other point guards in the league. She's familiar about the high level of play in this league, that you got to bring it every night. And sometimes with freshmen there's some inconsistency, and I think she's really gone home and worked on her game, worked on her shot, and I feel very confident that she's going to have a great year for us.
How will this team score, and do you think they'll be a good shooting team?
You know, we've got to spend a lot of time on shooting the basketball, but we feel comfortable with the growth that Jamie Asbury's made. Vivian Gray's worked really hard to expand her game, and she shot the 3 well last year, but is shooting it real well this year. Young lady Bryn Gerlich has put in a lot of time over the summer on her shot as well. So I think it's a combination of living in the gym and working on your craft, and we can all get better shooting the basketball. Your handles could get better, but that's going to be important to us to make perimeter shots and have balance and score on the block as well.
Miriam Nano has a chance to be a unique player. What has she done to kind of take the next step in her game?
I think the weight room's been very important for her to gain strength. She's going to be one that's never going to have a bulky frame, but she's worked hard to have the part of her game where she could step out to the free throw line, step out in the short corner. She's got nice touch from 12 to 15 feet. So we're going to give her the opportunity some this year to pick and pop and shoot the 12 to 15 footer. That maybe fits her body type a little better than going inside and trying to bang all night.
So with this roster, do you have some more versatility in what you can do? Maybe go with some a lineup that can get up and down the floor more, and then slow it down with some different.
I think we can play different ways. I believe we're going to be able to press and extend our defense a little bit more, play a little bit more pressure because of our athleticism and because of our depth. And we want to find a way to score easy baskets, and the way you do that is create offense with your defense and attack the offensive boards. So those are going to be two vital things for us, that we find a way not only to score within our offense, but have our defense create offense and then score out of transition as well. Any other questions?
Big 12, Jim.
Pardon me?
What about the Big 12 in general?
It's loaded again, until somebody dethrones Baylor, they're really good again. And a lot of teams return 3-4 starters. Some teams lost their best players, so it'll be interesting to see how people adapt from that. Kalani Brown's gone from Baylor. Bridget Carlton, the MVP, has gone at Iowa State. But those teams return 3-4 starters and have traditionally been strong. So I think from top to bottom, it's one of the premier conferences in the country. There's not many cupcakes in our league, and it's important that you be able to play every night. I know it sounds like a cliche, but there's just a lot of good basketball coaches in our league and a lot of good teams. So I expect it to be as good as it's ever been.
Have you had a chance to talk to Brent about playing against her mom in the Virgin Islands? Is she excited?
That was a guarantee that we would not play them, and then her mom, Krista, was having trouble filling her schedule out and got a good deal to go to the Virgin Islands, so we ended up playing it. So I went to Brent and said, hey, that wasn't on me. That wasn't on me, but they've both said, I've talked to them, they both said that we're going to be competitors for about 2 hours, and then we're going to be able to hang out a little bit there and spend Thanksgiving together. So I think they're very good with it. It's a really good relationship between mom and daughter, and I think when it comes down to it, they're going to be able to spend some family time together on our trip.
Anything else?
Thank y'all.